Today is not a good day to be an employee of the Indiana Fever, to be the coach of the Indiana Fever, because headlines is about to be written in a hot second about how much fines they is about to face for lying about this Caitlin Clark injury. Now, to begin with, yesterday we did a video right at the end of the game, and in that video, we came across some comments from a Twitter account that stated that, hold up, wait a minute. We believe there's grounds for fines up to $5,000 per.
Stephanie White sat in that chair, and the words seemed to fall apart. She looked the media directly in the eye and delivered a contradiction so obvious it sent the entire Indiana Fever front office into chaos. This wasn't a small slip or a minor mistake, it was a full-blown PR disaster that has the WNBA ready to take action. One moment she said one thing, and the next she was contradicting her own timeline about the league's biggest star. Cameras were rolling, receipts were already being collected, and in that single moment, the credibility of the entire organization went up in flames. That was the moment the panic truly began.
Some comments from a Twitter account that stated that, hold up, wait a minute. We believe there's grounds for fines up to $5,000 per fine allegedly. Now, I thought to myself, damn, that can't be true. After doing further research, that is very much extremely true. Now, what's crazy about all of this is that the Indiana Fever had put out an injury report 24 hours before yesterday's game against Portland. Shortly before the game started, they announced that Caitlin Clark will be out with a back injury. Now, my guess is fans immediately turned around.
The league office does not take injury report integrity lightly, and the Fever stepped directly into a problem. According to strict WNBA guidelines, teams must disclose player health status by 5 p.m. local time the day before a game, or by 1 p.m. in back-to-back situations. The Fever front office appeared to play a dangerous game with Caitlin Clark's status, and now the consequences are approaching fast. Reports suggest fines of up to $5,000 per violation. When repeated issues are added up, the total financial and reputational damage could exceed $20,000.
Will be out with a back injury. Now, my guess is fans immediately turned around, started the car up and went vroom, vroom, vroom home is what they did. Now, this is a very, very bad look for the Indiana Fever front office because for the simple fact, they kind of ished on their fans again. Now, if we know history from the Fever, they're known for kind of ishing on their fans. And this, my friends, is not a good look. Not at all. Now, shout out to the homeboy, Ben Daniel. Ben Daniel quickly, vigorously, fastly went to Twitter.
Think about the fans who spent their hard-earned money to watch a generational talent like Caitlin Clark. They arrived expecting to see her play in Portland, only to be disappointed by a last-minute injury scratch. The team announced she was out due to a back injury shortly before tip-off, but evidence suggests the organization may have known much earlier. Fans had already traveled, parked, and taken their seats before the news broke. It created a terrible impression for an organization already being criticized for disconnecting from its fan base.
Versus Mystic, 14,000. Fever versus Storm, 14,000. Fever versus Fire, 14,000. You guys see a trend here? Because I definitely see a trend. They're losing fans by the thousands. Now, this was before it was announced Caitlin Clark had basically will not be there. Now, my thing about it is that I wanted to go to a game very, very soon, like next week type soon. And I just don't know if I'm going to go anymore. And that's simply because how they doing us fans, because y'all know I have solidarity with the fans. And how they're allowing.
Attendance numbers tell a clear story. The trend shows fans are disappearing by the thousands. Earlier games showed consistent drops, and many fans expressed frustration even before official announcements were made. Some even reconsidered attending future games due to how the situation was handled. There is growing frustration among supporters who feel ignored, especially when communication from the coaching staff appears inconsistent and unclear.
I'm talking about black leather from the empty seats. Look at this. Look at this, man. Look at all of these seats. I mean, there look like it's rows of people sitting by themselves. Look at this. This whole row, somebody just sitting by themselves. Look at this. This is ridiculous. This is in the second quarter of the game, bro. People packed it up and went home. Packed it up and went home.
The numbers do not lie. The situation is becoming a nightmare for the front office. Attendance has reportedly dropped from around 17,000 to near 14,000 in multiple games. That means thousands fewer fans per night. People are responding with their wallets because they no longer trust the transparency around player availability. If fans cannot trust that the star they came to see will actually play, they simply stop showing up. This growing frustration is fueling negative sentiment toward the organization.
Fantasy Doctor PhD, man. He said WNBA teams must report information concerning player injuries, illness, other medical conditions, or rest for all WNBA games by 5 p.m. local time. The day before the game, other than the second day of a back-to-back, teams must designate a participation status and identify a specific injury, illness, other medical conditions, or other reasons for any players whose participation in the game may be affected for any reason. Now, for the second game of a back-to-back, teams must...
A look inside the arena during recent games shows a concerning image: rows of empty seats and scattered crowds where energy should have been high. Normally, a Caitlin Clark game is one of the most exciting tickets in the league, but mismanagement of injury communication has changed that atmosphere. Some fans even left early, which is a strong sign of frustration and disappointment. When trust breaks, the energy inside the arena collapses, and the impact is visible to everyone.
Was getting her back realigned, readjusted, sitting on a blue cushion, never on an injury report. If that wasn't enough, they finally know now that Caitlin Clark won't even be playing in the next one. So she's already out in the next game. Like, we're not going to see how she feels tomorrow morning. We're not going to see how she feels tonight. We're not going to see how she feels on game day. She won't even be a game time decision. They're already saying she's out. Where is the storyline going? She was supposed to be out today. She was supposed to be out on an injury report. What did Caitlin Clark do today that confirms that she won't be playing on Friday, that you didn't know that she wasn't able to play today? Once again, Indiana Fever, you are lying to...
League reporting rules are clear. Teams must disclose injury, illness, or rest status by 5 p.m. the day before a game, or by 1 p.m. for back-to-backs. They must also clearly identify any condition affecting participation. In this case, it is argued that Caitlin Clark's condition was visible over multiple games, yet she was not properly listed on injury reports in time for fans to be informed.
To lose money to stick it to Caitlin Clark Nation. Listen to Stephanie White contradict herself. Roll it.
Steph, just following up on Caitlin from earlier, she didn't practice yesterday. Why was she not listed on the injury report, or why wasn't the injury report updated like earlier today if she woke up with soreness in her back?
Well, not everybody that doesn't practice or gets a pro day is on the injury report, so that happens all the time.
Caitlin didn't practice yesterday. She didn't what? When did Caitlin not? Caitlin didn't practice yesterday. Did she just lie? I believe she lied. I believe she hella lied. Cause ain't this Caitlin that practiced yesterday?
The level of dishonesty here is staggering. Venom called it out perfectly. The Indiana Fever are lying to their fans. There is no other way to slice it. When you have a player who has been visibly struggling for 8 minutes at the end of every game, needing constant medical attention on the bench, and you do not put her on the report, you are being deceptive. It feels like a direct attack on the Caitlin Clark fan base. Some analysts are even suggesting that the organization is willing to lose money and sacrifice attendance just to stick it to the people who are only there to support CCC. It is a bizarre, self-destructive strategy that is now blowing up in their faces. The moment that really sealed Stephanie White's fate happened during the press conference. She was asked a very simple, direct question: did Caitlin Clark practice yesterday? This should have been an easy answer, but instead it turned into a masterclass in contradiction. Stephanie started to say one thing, caught herself, and then completely flipped the script. She claimed that not everyone who misses practice goes on the injury report, which is technically true, but then she stumbled over whether Caitlin actually participated or not. The hesitation was deafening. It was the sound of a coach realizing she had backed herself into a corner with no way out. When a reporter pushed harder on why the injury report was not updated earlier if Caitlin woke up with soreness, the panic became visible. Stephanie tried to brush it off by saying they expected her to play. But how can you expect someone to play when you already have a history of her needing medical intervention for the same injury? The back is sore excuse is becoming a shield they hide behind, but that shield is full of holes. If the training staff has more details, they are not sharing them, and that lack of communication is exactly what leads to the massive fines the WNBA is known for handing out. Do I think the Fever are going to get fined? Absolutely. They are about to get hit with a super-duper, catastrophically large fine. The league office already has a complicated relationship with the Caitlin Clark phenomenon, and they are not going to let a team undermine reporting standards. Every lie, every contradiction, and every delayed report is another $5,000 added to the tab. When you add it all up, the organization is looking at a $20,000 penalty for their lack of honesty. It is a high price for trying to be clever with the media, and it comes directly out of the franchise's pocket. The behavior we are seeing from Stephanie White is being described by some as callous. There is a total lack of solidarity with the fans who are the lifeblood of this league. Instead of being upfront and saying, our star player is hurting and we need to protect her long-term health, they chose to stay silent. They allowed people to travel, buy jerseys, and fill seats for a product they knew they were not going to deliver. That is why attendance is dropping by the thousands. People do not like being played for fools, and they certainly do not like it when a coach gaslights them during a press conference about practice status. The image of Caitlin Clark on the sideline has become the symbol of this entire controversy. Whether it is the blue cushion or visible discomfort, the signs were there for everyone to see. The fact that the front office ignored those signs on official paperwork is a massive red flag. It suggests a culture where truth is secondary to narrative, but in the age of social media and constant coverage, you cannot hide the truth for long. Fans are smarter than the front office gives them credit for, and they are calling out contradictions in real time. Stephanie White is in panic mode because the walls are closing in. We have to ask, where is this storyline going? If Caitlin is already ruled out for Friday, what does that say about the severity of the injury? More importantly, what does it say about the trust between team and public? If they can lie about practice, they can lie about anything. The WNBA is at a turning point where transparency matters more than ever. With the eyes of the world on Indiana, every move is under scrutiny. This blunder proves the Fever may not be ready for the spotlight that comes with a superstar of this magnitude. The disdain for fans is the most heartbreaking part of this situation. It feels like there is a genuine disconnect between management and the new wave of fans Caitlin Clark has brought in. Instead of embracing growth, the organization appears to be resisting it. They are willing to see empty seats and rows of lonely spectators just to maintain control, but you cannot control a movement, and you cannot control the fallout when you get caught in a contradiction. The financial loss from fines is one thing, but lost fan loyalty is a debt that takes years to recover. Stephanie White's press conference was a disaster for clarity. She seemed to forget that her words would be compared to past statements and real events. In panic, people make mistakes, they say things that do not align, and try to cover one contradiction with another until everything collapses. That is exactly what happened here. The contradiction about practice status was the smoking gun. It exposed a disconnect between what is happening behind closed doors and what is being told publicly. The league is watching, and the hammer may come down soon. Whether it is a $5,000 fine or a $20,000 total hit, the real cost is reputation. The Fever have a long way to go to earn back trust. Keep watching this story, it is far from over, and the next chapter could be even more shocking. Additional reports suggest Caitlin Clark has already been ruled out for an upcoming game against the Golden State Valkyries. This raises further questions. If her absence was already known in advance, critics argue it contradicts earlier claims about uncertainty. This has led to speculation that the injury was long-term but not publicly communicated until necessary.